But we've sorted the audio, just a limited bit of the breathing coming across on the mic, and we are back to spectate game number three. The Fluff Fam, the boys in red today, 2-0, looking a bit dicey in that second game, but they brought it back like the champions they are. And can I just say, across the Fluff Fam history, whether they were TCM or Fluff Fam, these boys have an impressive record in game three of the day. They do not make a lot of mistakes. And we're just looking at take a quick look into the team comps right now. Ted Tarek boy on the Ram is such a strong champ in this meta. Mr. Shocked on the Bizahar, Malzahar, and this man is stinging because he is undefeated 2-0, and you just seeing him making time and time those huge decisions on those ultimates, picking the right targets, locking them down, putting out the damage, and the team just following up, setting them up and knocking them down. Um, to round out the team comp, we've also seen Mr. Full Afraid to carry himself on the Tristana. This man with the pop-up potential, the extra safety that the booster shot provides, and the rocket jump to follow up just to chain those kills. You want to see a man on a mission? Look at this man on the Tristana. And last but not least, Mr. Cam Hodge once again on the tank top. And you know what? I'm a big fan of it. This man has shown he has got carry potential when he plays stuff like the Urgot, but when he's on those utility top laners that have a bit of damage on the Cho'Gath, you see them on the side, you just see time and time again that little bit of extra knowledge from playing the game so long, adding to that key decision making in those big moments, and just making things happen for his team where it doesn't necessarily seem like there's a play there, but he finds a way. Both teams drawing their battle lines. Kind of like the first game, last game, you just don't want to risk making a silly mistake that could cost you the game off a level one invade. And yeah, the Fluff Fam have got to be feeling confident. 5-0 across the last 5 games and looking to make it six for the back-to-back wins and establish themselves as a bit of a dominant force in the European West scene. And we could be hearing about these boys for quite a long time. Um, we could see a little bit of difficulty in the mid lane. Vladimir, with how much lifesteal is in the game right now, has potential to be an absolute monster of a drain tank. And yeah, I don't know. Um, but I wouldn't be too worried. These boys have shown time and time again they can kind of just deal with whatever's thrown at them. And we have seen another Shen top. Shen has been a pretty powerful pick. It'll be interesting to see if Benny Pro can provide the same kind of early game playmaking that we saw in the last game out of the Panaderos, where those two big Stan United bot side helped to set up his laners to get ahead, but ultimately it didn't pan out. But if we see similar results, the Fluff Fam might not be able to dig themselves out of a hole that it did last game. It takes a lot of effort, and they're good, but they're not invincible. So far, though, he's in the top, just trading CS, and they'll feel pretty comfortable. Uh, Also, as I look forward into the game, I have to say the Fluff Fam will be pretty happy with this team composition. I just looking at that Cho'Gath, he's gone the Font of Life as well, so he's gonna get pretty tanky once we get 35, 40 minutes. He's gone a few extra chomps off, increased size, and I'm not seeing where that damage is gonna come from when we get to that stage of the game. Samira is kind of in your face, and when you have a champion with a almost 1k true damage, you do not want to be anywhere near that. So I've got to say the draft is looking pretty comfortable for the Fluff Fam. Just to turn attention to bot lane, where we see a gank from Tarek Boy doing what he does best, setting up his team to get kills. They've got the enemy Leona with stranded without a paddle, flash roll by Jack MSD to land the Q, but no more follow-up damage. So a bit of a wasted summoner there. But don't be put off with a little bit of soft play on the back of what was a clean gank setup. These boys know how to do it right. You gank your carries. You get these boys ahead because even when they're not, they will win you games, and when they do, they'll win you even more. Mr. Forfraid already getting the assist. Would have liked the kill, but just taking the extra lane pressure and the minions, it will be more than enough for him, I'd imagine. A player of his caliber can take this kind of advantage and just blow it up, getting some dividends on those investments from his jungler. Just gonna take this time to recall though. Or not. The thing's better against it. Seeing the size of the wave, things he'll get a little bit of chip damage, make it just a little bit harder for them to CS, and we'll continue on that way. Um, and as we turn towards the top lane, sorry, I say top, I mean mid, we see Mr. Shocks on 26 TS to the uh, 28 of the enemy Vladimir. So just a smidge behind in CS, but that's not too big a deal. Uh, we do want to be careful here though, because in the mid lane, just with the change to bonus XP, um, the gank setup for him is pretty nasty. But with the Morgana, I'm not too afraid bot side, so I guess they'll probably be trying to play more towards the top side of the map, which is a necessity for their comp, but I'm not sure it's the greatest strategy, just considering how good the Fluff Fam have been in the bot. And this is what I mean. Mr. Forfrayed on that Tristana, just click on the trigger, getting the rocket jump out of the engage, and yeah, this is the problem that the enemy team are going to have here. This man is so good, and when you give him a champ like the Tristana, where he has that additional safety for himself, can choose when he wants to be aggressive without paying too big of a price, you can get into pretty big problems. Um, although Samira has been nerfed, she's pretty weak right now. Her scalings have actually been buffed into the late game. As we look into the gank, so just hold on to that thought. They see the enemy Shen out of position to Tarek going in, but he's only at level 4, so the Shen's level 5. The Aftershock proc does do a bit of damage though, and the red buff will tick as well, but nothing doing. Forcing away the flash. No, he doesn't get the flash, I tell a lie. So yeah, Oh, but Mr. Shocks roams, but doesn't quite get the damage to stop the recall. This Vlad is just going to continue free farming, and are they going to look for a gank here? Level 6 on this Vladimir. I don't think they've realized that, and level 4 on. Oh, this could be. Oh, oh. Oh my goodness. Oh, the Vladimir damage does come through, but what a perfect time to level up for Mr. Shock. And he is quick on the trigger finger to get that button press, bring out the ultimate, and lock down the Vladimir. He looked like he had an option to escape, thought he could turn it around, but disaster strikes. And the Fluff Fam pick up where they left off, securing that kill. But they are up 2-1. So a little bit of a trade, but you'll take that. They are ironically down in gold. Just having a look at the CS scores across the board, and yeah, this is a interesting state of the game, Mister. The level in that gold, as we see the enemy Grey Goose, Mister Gragas, just pulling a little bit ahead in farm, 8 CS above. But that kind of comes with the territory that Tetarik Boy likes to play with, heavy ganking style. So you are going to sacrifice a few of your camps and rotations to try and get your laners ahead. So far it's working. Um, his 80 uh, 1 assist up and level of CS. So pretty even game state. We'll have to see here which team is going to make the best plays to get themselves ahead? We're just looking at No Easy Error. He's a bit far off at level 6, so I'd imagine he's going to finish his blue buff, maybe path towards top side, see if he can get level 6 and a gank onto the Cho'Gath. But speaking of ganks, nothing doing here. Shock's just going to set a little vision, give himself extra protection so he doesn't get ganked. And yeah, no team really turning too much attention to this Drake, but Mr. Tetart Boy seems to have learned from his mistakes the last game, giving his bot lane the due attention they deserve. Um, Jack MSD has come over here and placed the control ward. Yes, this is such clean play. Bait the enemy team, just secure that vision to sneak in your jungle. The team is, what can I say? These boys are playing at a high level. Um, Passing a little bit aggressively. Oh, and that's the damage onto Mr. Forfade. But like I said before, when you have this man on the Tristana, he basically has free reign to do what he wants. Oh, but there's a Gragas ulti. And the owner locks him on the. Oh, well played. And you just gotta. Ooh. A little bit of a misplay there by the enemy jungler. No easy error. Gets to level 6, sees the gank going down, rotates to help his team late, and just can't quite hit that cask to get the enemy support on the tower. Can't get that return kill, and you're down your ultimate, so your gank opportunities on other lanes are a bit limited. Oh, Jack of Steel, it's another beautiful dark binding. The size on that skill shot is just quite huge, and he's got to be careful with this. Ooh, yeah, the I forget the name of the ability. What's it called? The explosive charge. You do wonder if Mr. Yannick might have thought about using the rocket jump in tandem with that ability. But oh, they catch the enemy slipping. Yep. Once again, this is getting out of hand, and this is what I said. You pay attention to your bot lane, you get them ahead, and what do? They punish the enemy team straight up. 6-1. 2K goal difference 10 minutes into the game is definitely not where you want to be as the enemy team, but as the Fluff Fam, you are over the moon. And more importantly, looking towards that bot lane, 1-0-3, and Mr. Forfeit. And he's also going to pick up just another. Oh, they elect not to greed for these last couple of tower plays. He's just going to recall, but Jack MSD is going to grab that gold himself. Yeah. Okay, both boys recall. And we'll see what he comes out of the shop with. The Noon Quiver, the pickaxe, and the crit cloaks. Just so much that extra damage. And even the boots. So his chase down potential on this enemy Samira is through the moon. Haven't seen a lot of action topside. It's just ideal for Mr. Cam Holland, who just is so good at kind of playing that weak side. His team doesn't invest a lot of resources into him, but I guess that's because it doesn't really matter. Like we said before, even if this guy is a little bit down in the game, he usually finds a way to make those heads-up plays and make it happen. As I say that, he gets slain on the tower by Benny Pro, but listen, uh, it happens. You don't get much attention. You kind of don't want to give up too much lane pressure, and he goes down. But I'm sure in about 10, 15 minutes, I'll be talking about some big plays from the man himself. Looking at it for the enemy team, I've got to be honest, they have got to figure out a way to slow down this bot lane. We saw the Panaderos wisely electing to invest just so much resources down there to try and stem the tide of these boys, and we saw them pay dividends, but eventually didn't really work out into the later portions of the game. But these boys seem like they're just gonna give it up straight up, and you have to think that it's not the best strategy. The goal difference is actually shrunk a little bit to 1.3k. So what we'll say is you do have to question the quality of laning coming out of the Fluff Fam because we've seen that across multiple games where they pick up a couple of nice kills and some reason or another it doesn't quite. And there's a spell shield a little bit early, but there's a rocket jump. He buffers that out, and the stun doesn't even come through. And it's just insanely plain play. Um, as a fellow support main, though, I do question the decision making on Leona there. You know, the cooldown on that Black Shield is quite long, and it was coming down to the last ticks of it. If you just hold that a little bit longer, you could be looking at a pretty big engaged play, obviously with the knock up on the Samira passive like that. They don't get onto Mr. Yannick, but they do get onto Jack MSD. But there's so much damage coming out. He's got the ultimate and the heal, but the Zenith Blade comes through again, and there's an ultimate out of Samira. She does so much damage, and it's a double kill. And that's what I'm talking about. Um, just having the awareness to know that the Black Shield is down, that the enemy team has probably committed it a little bit too early. That's always going to be the trouble with a Black Shield, though, right? You kind of go in preemptively, knowing that the enemy's looking for opportunity, and if they don't line up quite right, you get such a massive. Oh, this is a questionable engage by Tetarik because the Leona stun in the aftershock just makes it so tanky. But he is also just so tanky as well with the Powerball, and he's onto the Samira, but there comes the Ticks, and he gets away with what is less than 10 HP. Absolute insane play. I thought it was a bit ballsy, but the I'm down by one other than Cam Hollis. What did I say? 10, 15 minutes from now, you'll be talking about this man makes it come true. And the Fluff Fam answer say, you don't get anything for free on this map. You're gonna have to pay for it in blood. Um, that being said, I still have a bit questions about the laning of the Fluff Fam. The goal is dead even despite the kills, sorry, that they're picking up. And there's the Malzahar ulti, but it doesn't look like he has quite enough damage. The Oh, okay. There's a taunt and there's a silence. Does he have enough damage to finish off? Yes, he does. Tetarik. That's why I say this man loves a gank, and when he gets them going, they pop off. And they shut down Vladimir, which is huge. The man was feeling himself just a little bit too much, overstepped, think he could get the damage done, doesn't count for enemy jungle, pays the price. Um, Interesting enough. Fourth Raid and Jack MSD have secured the bot lane tower already, just 50 minutes into the game. Um, didn't quite get all those plates, but it's just crazy what these guys are doing right now. Even when Jack is taken off of his signature Leona pick. Um, but I hate to say it, the only thing that might make you wonder is coming into the late game, will he have the same level of just big time playmaking? So you can see where that Dark Binding just goes slightly wide, and that's the kind of things that I worry about. The boy is solid, I wouldn't take that away from him. But on that Leona, you have to think that he would hit that Zenith Blade, whereas on the Morgana, he's a little bit less accurate. I don't know if it's just just a mood thing, but it'll be interesting to see where we go here. And we just cast our eyes towards the scoreboard. Mr. Shocks 3-1-1 on that Malzahar, still undefeated on it. And time and time again, we just kind of have to wonder about the draft choices enemy teams. They're looking for a gank up top side. Cam Holland is staying close because he's sensing like a potential finishing move onto the enemy Shen. But this Vladimir is just up here and he does not have any MR or protection and he's just going to go down quite quickly. And this is the terrifying thing. The Vladimir uh, has a lot of ability to get onto enemy champions. You can't really peel him too much of the pool. Um, and Jack MSD trying to like that. Oh my goodness. And brilliant roam by Shocks. That all the Malzahar is just so powerful, just locks down any target really. Um, you're free to do what you want. Lands the Dart Binding, a little bit extra damage, and the Q. The minions arrived just in time, so Mr. Forfeit will not take any aggro there, so it wasn't too aggressive on pay. But Mr. Tyrant Boy will take a few tower shots, but you're so tanky, you don't really care. The Fluff Found have seen a crack in the armor in the bot side, and they're just going to take that tier 1 and that tier 2 now. Only 17 minutes into the game, and they're onto inhib tower on that bot side. One thing I will say is that is probably one of the lesser desirable lanes to be pushing, just because while it does give you more dragon control, beautiful back shield there to shield Jack Jackamus D from that final ticks of the Vladimir ultimate that would definitely have caboodled his noodle. And Mr. Cam Holland picks up a solo kill. Yep, picks up a solo kill into the enemy jungler. But huge, huge, and they catch. Oh, not quite, but surely they'll be able to finish this. Down comes the Ignite. The Stand United, they're really investing a lot to keep this one alive, but they just cannot keep their carries alive. And the Fluff Fam rotations are just crazy. And Camholish again starting on the fight, and there's a lockdown potential from that Malzahar. It's just too strong. You see an enemy champion, you press R, and that is good night, Irene. I I always like to do both sides of the coin and see how the enemy team can potentially get back into the game, but it's looking a bit sticky. Um, the Samira always has huge carry potential after you get, excuse me, into the deeper parts of the game. But big but here, her wind wall, which will shield her from a lot of damage other enemy champions put down, is not immune to that Malzahar ult. So even if she can find a way to sort of kickstart this game, get into high gear, there's still that ace in the hole. You just lock her down. Enough of that dash, 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 and punish her, especially with this Ramos. The cave tank, you just see it coming in. They're trying to damage him here, but the W is just too strong. And You see the disengage, but like I said, the Samira just can't really find a way to do everything she wants to do. And the enemy team really just needs the Vladimir here. He's coming in the backside of the fight, but the Fluff Time is just chasing deep in the jungle. They got to be careful here, but Fluff Fairy just has so much damage on the Tristana. And they've got to be careful though. They keep going, they keep going, they keep going, they get more. And there's a TP to cover the backside with Cam Hollage, and they're just going to take it all. There's no respite, and there's no recourse for the enemy team. There was the potential of a late flank by the Vladimir, but like we said, is just no way for him to get into the fight, and he shuts down Tatari Boy with the last ticks of his damage. But yeah, there it is. The Malzahar ult. He hits the stopwatch. I'm not sure if he has the pool. Oh, he does have the pool and flashes to get away. There's a Samira. Oh, the Samira wind wall keeps him alive. A little bit of nice coordinated team play. Um, but let's just be real here. That's not exactly going to change the game, but it was quite clean. Um, yeah, Fluff, I'm gonna be careful here because I think the enemy Leona has identified Fourth Raid is pretty low on mana. I'm not sure if he has enough to do the rocket jump. I can confirm the rocket jump. I don't think was quite available. The rocket jump was not available. So fortunately, he managed to just get away, but that was nail-bitingly close and could have been a bit of a disaster. Meanwhile, we turn attentions to the bot river as Gragas will secure that solo crab in time for the Drake, which will be spawning in the next 45 seconds. So, early, a little bit early setup around there. And yeah, the playmaking here, ironically, as much as we see Jack MSD pop on the Leona and make her look like she is the god of engage, which she is, I feel like the playmaking here from the enemy team is gonna have to come from the Gragas. Just landing maybe a clutch class. Ooh, hey, Tatarek is just too tanky. But Forfeit has gone down. Yeah, the investments into MR will be necessary soon because this Vladimir has a lot of damage, and without that Morgana Black Shield around you, it can be a bit tricky. Um, I did say it would have to be a play from the Gragas that would kind of change this around. Um, I wouldn't really call that a play, but he did what he had to. He still died, but you can see playing around the Gragas and the Vladimir is looking like the win condition for these boys in blue. Fluff Fam still enjoying a 4K goal lead, and I can't imagine they would throw this one away with how good they've been in game threes and how good they've been with leads. But Jack MSD looking for a cheeky dark binding from the Flock of War, but L is quick on the trigger with the wind wall and it gets away nicely. So yeah, that was just a little bit taste of what we potentially could see coming later into this game. The Vladimir damage is kind of insane, and if you cannot peel for your carries, well, this is the problem. You can't necessarily peel the Vladimir, right? If he's determined to get you, has the flash, has the pool, he can sort of AP assassinate anyone in the backline. With the rocket jump, um, it's still possible to get away from that, but the extra ticks of damage, even after you get away from him, oftentimes can be enough to just murder you. Um, Not sure if we see Forfait invest into a little bit of MR. I personally might have wanted to see him invest into maybe a Hex Drinker here, just for a lifeline passive. But he decides not to. It looks like he'll probably, if he's getting a crit cloak, might be going maybe for a Bloodthirster to give himself that little bit of extra life steal in these potentially prolonged team fights. Or he could even be going for more reminder, which honestly would shut down a lot of the enemy team. Just and there's a cask on the fourth rate. That's what I mean. That AP damage can be pretty insane. And like we said with this Vladimir, when he's got the pool, he's probably the only one that can successfully get into that backline because he's immune to that Malzahar ult. Um, the cask is out, so the playmaking ability for the team in blue is pretty low right now. So I'm just gonna clear out their vision, set up our own Baron. Um, and just look to probably get a bit of better lane state going on. They've got a good push in mid, not a great push in top or bot, but the enemy team seems slow in their rotations. But we could have a fight brewing as the Gragas wants this control ward, but the Fluff Fam will contest it. Um, Mr. Forfeit has gone in pretty deep, but without the cask and without any teammates around him, the Gragas just goes down. So what potentially could have been a risky play ends up working out all right. But they have to rotate quickly to protect the rest of the team. But that's a big shutdown. Um, but I say that's a big shutdown. Here comes the shooters in the back, and Mr. Yannick, as we said before, has got to be careful here though. He has got the black shield, so he's moving with a bit of impunity. There's a binding, but there comes the wind wall. And where's the Vladimir? The enemy Vladimir is nowhere to be found because he is dead. He died in the topside rumble while I was watching the Gragas die, so that is my bad team. But yes, William Brave like, once again from the Fluff Fam, sensing the opportunity, realizing the enemy team doesn't have the damage to finish off these fights, and just letting your carry do what he does best, pop off. Oh. 1 minute 45 on that Drake, which will potentially be the third Drake for the Fluff Fam. As we say every game, just stacking those Drakes makes such a big difference. It gives you so much extra pressure on the map. As the games go later, it really does force the enemy team into such awkward situations. Um, I was speaking for a couple seconds on the map state, and the enemy Gragas is dead once again. This man is 0-6, and he is just straight up not having a good time. Like I said before, he's probably the guy who's gonna have to be making these big team plays, and he is not. And you've got to think this is probably gonna be an end for the blue team. The Fluff Fam just too good in these games. Um, they probably want to avoid taking unnecessary fights in and around this Vladimir because he still does a lot of damage. You have a little bit of shielding through the back shield, but like we said, the Rammus passive does give you bonus armor and MR, but only if you stack it. And right now, Tatarik has elected to go Thornmail first, but he's got the Chem Tank, he's got the Negatron Cloak, so and the Merchants, of course. So this man can deal, I mean, sustain through quite a bit of damage. I think the Fluff Fam are looking golden. Oh, and they've spotted out the enemy support. It's just a roaming death squad. You see man, you kill man. Batmaster with the clutch E onto his jungler who probably didn't need it. And the cask is up for the enemy Gragas. And what I'm saying is he's kind of the man you want to be making this plays. The Black Shield would be up, is back up. The cooldown not too long in this stage of the game. Jack Master's just sitting in that bush looking for a pick. Um, and poor Frey just absolutely snipes the Gragas on the backside. And without that little bit of extra MR and damage, the enemy team just goes down. But there is Benny Pro doing pretty huge damage. Cam Holland is in the midst of the fight, but he cannot find. I don't think this is where you want to be. Oh, but it is where they want to be, and they do what they want to do. And they're gonna pick up the kill on this Vladimir, triple kill for four Frey. This man just does not make mistakes, and they're gonna barrel it down to this Maven mid, and that's probably gonna be at least an inhibitor. Depends how deep they want to push because they have been fighting so well. They might just want to force the end. Such coordinated, strong play for the Fluff Fam. 5-0. These boys are playing like the world is theirs, and who is gonna stop them? Tatarik is pushing the go button. He senses an opportunity to finish this game, and so does Forfrey, but he takes two tower shots, and they are backing away. Safe decision. You got three Jakes. The Baron is alive. There have been pings on it. Yeah, they're just gonna take the hit, take the extra pressure, reset, get their items, come back even stronger than they were before. So realistically, the size of this, the gradient of this mountain just keeps on climbing for the blue team. And as Jack MSD secures a bit of vision, you have to imagine they'll take this Baron, take the Drake in the next few minutes after maybe grabbing the inhibitor, or possibly two, and that would be more or less GG. Stellar performance again and again from the Fluff Fam. They're up 6k gold, so it's not an impossible task for the comeback. Um, Forfrey does have to be careful because the enemy team does have a bit of burst. The Leona ulti can lock him down and they can chunk him out before he has the time to really do much. But the enemy team is just not coordinated enough. They are fighting over this blue buff, and you just got to give up these camps, my friend. You can't really realistically expect to own those. They're gonna clear out that little bit of vision. But here comes Shocks, and he spotted the enemy Samira. And he is the one person she needs to be aware of because if he gets his hands on her, she is gonna die. And Gragas is dead again. And like we said, there's that combo locking them down with the Malzahar ult. The Samira is dead. The Shen is in the middle of it, but he's not long for this world. Goodbye, Benny Pro. Yannick Hinako picks up the triple kill, double kill for Sharks, and the Fluff Fam have secured win number 3, 6-0. These boys are unbeatable right now, and I cannot wait to see them in the next clash. It is truly incredible to see one of the best teams of our time pop off. And a little bit of BM. But I feel like it's well deserved when you go 6-0. The double champs are here.